Welcome back to Carcry, the channel where even EVs don't get to keep their secrets. We dig until the very last electron squeals. Today, we're not talking about hypercars, not your average family sedans either. Nope, today's about a wild horse that got tamed by electricity, the Ford Mustang Mach-E. And guess what? It's officially galloping into Vietnam. Mark your calendar. August 15th, 2025. That's when Ford Vietnam brings the Mach-E home, just in time to celebrate its 30-year anniversary in the country. Coincidence? Not even close. Ford's making it clear. We're done living in the gas-guzzling past. It's time to plug in and move on. Also, let's be honest, they're riding the EV hype harder than your favorite influencer live streaming in a luxury dealership. Now, performance-wise, this EV isn't playing nice. 480 horsepower, 860 newton-meters of torque. Yeah, sounds like it's ready to wheelie from Brooklyn to the Catskills. Ford even claims the Mustang Mach-E can go round-trip from Hanoi to Halong Bay without a recharge. Cool flex. But wait, 300 kilometers on a single charge? That's great. But are we talking real-world driving or a no AC, no headlights, and no pit stop for snacks kind of drive? Let's back up a sec. Remember what a Mustang used to be? 2 doors, V8, exhaust screaming like it's starting a riot. Drive it down the block and kids freak out while adults reach for earplugs. Now, it's an electric SUV. 4 doors, no exhaust, no rumble. So here's the question. Do you still call this thing a Mustang? Or is it time to rebrand it as a plug-in pony? Drop your take in the comments, because in the next segment, we're diving into the Mach-E's drivetrain. How the heck does something this powerful run smoother than a lullaby? Now listen, if you ever fell in love with the rumble of the old Mustang GT, that roaring like it caught its ex finishing the last bite of dinner kind of sound, I've got some bad news. The Mustang Mach-E doesn't have a V8. What it does have, though, is what engineers call a dual permanent magnet synchronous motor setup. But car guys, they just say, yeah, it's fast and whisper quiet, bro. Here's the breakdown. The Mach-E GT packs 2 motors, one up front, one in the rear. All-wheel drive, 480 horsepower, 860 newton-meters of torque. That's equal to or even higher than the 5.0-liter Mustang GT. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, 0 to 62 miles per hour, just 3.8 to 3.9 seconds. Translation? It's faster than most performance cars out there. But here's the real question. It's fast, but is it fun like the old gas Mustang? Well, that depends. If you're the kind of driver who needs to hear the engine growl, needs to feel every gear shift, needs that raw rev pop boom thrill, this might feel a little empty. The Mach-E doesn't have a real gearbox, no shifting, and the sound? Simulated. You can switch to unbridled mode. Yeah, they really named it that. And the car will howl like a fighter jet, but it's coming out of speakers. On the upside, the front and rear motors work independently. So when you floor it or dive into a corner, the car automatically adjusts power for grip. Ford calls it EAWD with active torque vectoring. We call it just drive, the car's got you. Now, if you think Ford killing the V8 is betrayal, take a breath. The 2025 V8 Mustang still exists in the US. It just doesn't exist with you. Kind of like that ex who moved on but still posts gym selfies. So, what's it going to be, Carcry fam? A fast, silent electric Mustang or the gas-guzzling, window-rattling V8 beast? Drop your raw reaction below, so I know if it's time to roast that SUV-style silhouette next. All right, let's talk about the part most people just stop by the dealership to photograph, then bounce. Yes, we're talking exterior, the "Do you even Mustang, bro?" segment of the show.
First off, here's the question. Is it still a Mustang or just a startup bros crossover in cosplay? At first glance, you're not getting a long, low-slung two-door coupe anymore. What you see is a four-door sporty SUV, riding high with long legs, 20 to 21-inch black or fire red rims, looking like it's auditioning for the next Marvel movie in a tight muscle suit. But to be fair, Ford did try to inject some Mustang DNA into this mutant. Those signature 3-bar vertical taillights, a callback to the 60s glory days, a low nose, coupe-style sloping roof and wide rear haunches, flexing like it skipped leg day but doubled back for shoulders, and most sci-fi of it all, no traditional door handles. They're hidden, with doors that open via buttons. Feels less grocery run, more welcome aboard SpaceX Crew Dragon. Now, some purists hate this look. They say Ford slapped the Mustang badge on a body that doesn't carry the original soul. But look closer, and you realize this is Ford's 2025 Mustang. Stronger, sleeker, and tailor-made for the EVH. One fun fact, the Mach-E's drag coefficient is just 0.30 CD. That's even better than the gas-powered Mustang Fastback. Why? Because EVs need better aero to stretch that battery life. So the once beefy grille is slimmed down, the front is smoother, and the rear gets a cheeky upward flick, kind of like it's throwing shade at the wind. Mini roasting coming. Have you ever seen a Mustang wearing an SUV crossover EV plate? Well, now you have. So tell me, Carcry fam, is this design legit cool or just Mustang name dropping to sell more cars? You bring the Mach-E home, will the neighbors shout, "Sick ride," or just ask, "Hey, is that the new EcoSport?" Leave your thoughts below, because next we're diving into the interior. Is it Tesla-level fancy, or just Ford doing a group project after chugging a can of energy drink?
Here we go, stepping inside the Mustang Mach-E, where Ford claims they've electrified your living space. But to me, it's like someone duct-taped an iPad to the wall and called it design. Center stage, a 15.5-inch vertical touchscreen, bigger than your reflection on a bad hair day, and just as unforgiving when you accidentally press the wrong button while bouncing over a speed bump. It runs Ford's latest Sync 4A system, snappy wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto support, but the real eyebrow raiser, a physical volume knob stuck right onto the screen. Yep, right on the screen. Looks kinda cursed, feels kind of amazing. Forget swiping like you're stuck with a broken iPhone screen, just give that knob a twist. Boom, volume up. Eyes still on the road, vibes secured. Tesla, take notes. Now, space-wise, it's roomy. Eco leather everywhere, front seats are power adjustable 8 ways, memory function, heated, and yes, ventilated in case you're crossing a sun-melting summer bridge at high noon. The rear seats fold flat, trunk space hits around 820 liters, and there's even a frunk up front, another 130 liters for your backpack, a box of ice cream, and oh, the frunk? It's not just waterproof. It has a drain plug, which means yes, you can fill it with ice and use it as a mobile beer cooler. Who said EVs can't party? This thing can go off-road and chill shrimp cocktail at the same time. For audio lovers, it's got a 10-speaker Bang & Olufsen system, smooth for jazz, punchy for EDM, and if you blast a Mustang Heartache or any throwback ballad, you'll start to understand why this car is still called a Mustang even without the horse's whinny. So now, Carcry fam, do you prefer interiors where every button has its place, or are you team just one big screen and pray you hit the right spot? And be honest, isn't that volume knob weirdly addicting? If you've ever said real buttons never betray, then the Mach-E will have you silently nodding as you reach for that knob just one more time. Trust me, it's a guilty pleasure. All right, time for the question every gearhead secretly wants to ask. Does this thing launch like a missile? Answer: absolutely. It launches, but in total silence. We're talking Ford Mustang Mach-E GT AWD, the top spec beast.
Dual electric motors, one up front, one at the rear, dishing out a total of 480 horsepower and 860 newton meters of torque. That's sports car territory. And if that's not enough, Ford's also made a rally version with torque pushing past 950 Nm. Excessive? Yes. Delicious? Also yes. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, 0 to 62 miles per hour, 3.8 to 3.9 seconds. But here's the weird part. It does it without a sound. No growl, no shifting, no turbo spooling. You stomp the pedal and it just goes. Like being yanked by an invisible bungee cord. So fast your brain's still at the red light while your body's already merging into the next lane. Ford gives you 3 drive modes. Whisper, smooth and chill, like pressing on a yoga mat instead of a gas pedal. Engage, the balanced one, good for daily city traffic even when your blood pressure isn't. And unbridled, full power, fake engine noise, color-changing ambient lights. Basically, I swear I'm still a Mustang, floor me and find out. Mini roast time. Have you ever been glued to the seat and didn't know why? Not because your crush texted back, because electric torque hits you in the soul. And yes, there's active torque vectoring, so the car adjusts power between the axles mid-corner to keep you planted. It's so smooth, you won't even notice it's saving your butt. Like that one best friend who secretly deletes your cringe posts from the high school Facebook group. Bonus points. The GT Performance trim gets Magni Ride suspension, which dynamically adjusts stiffness in real time. Comfy when you want it, tight when you need it. Basically, it's a Gemini. The only thing missing? Exhaust drama. Sure, you can turn on fake engine sounds, but it's just audio pumped through speakers. No rumble, no gasoline stench, no gritty vibration. Basically, no chaos. And let's be honest, classic Mustangs were all about chaos. So now Carcry asks you straight, would you trade engine noise for instant electric launch? Or do you still crave the smell of gas, the shake of the chassis, and that wild WOT scream? Because your answer doesn't just say what kind of car you want, it says who you are. Someone stepping into the future? Or someone still chasing that full throttle moment on Levon Luang or, let's say, Sunset Boulevard? So, Ford claims the Mustang Mach-E can do a round trip from Hanoi to Ha Long Bay without recharging. Sounds impressive, right? Like if Paul Revere rode a Tesla instead of a horse. But is it magic or just marketing? The GT version comes with an 88 kilowatt-hour battery rated for 500 kilometers EPA range. Now let's talk real-world conditions. AC at 75 degrees Fahrenheit, mixed city and highway driving, maybe a kid in the back blasting Spotify. You'll realistically get 420 to 450 kilometers tops. That's still plenty for a round trip of around 340 kilometers, but only if you're not blasting bass-heavy music, driving with your karaoke crew, and you've set regen braking to maximum sweat mode. Fast charging? Yep, it supports DC 150 kilowatts, which means 10 to 80% takes 35 to 40 minutes, just enough time to enjoy a bowl of lemongrass chicken pho. Or charging at home with an 11 kilowatt AC charger takes about 10 to 11 hours from 0 to 100%, plug it in before bed, wake up to a full battery, and whatever chaos made the morning news. And speaking of regen braking, we talked torque factoring back in segment 5, remember? Yeah, now imagine those signature 3-bar Mustang taillights we hyped in segment 3. Yeah, now imagine them flashing because your battery's running low, not because you're signaling a turn. So tell me, have you ever tested an EV's range by drifting every corner like it's Tokyo Drift meets Hypermiling Challenge? Or do you play it safe, AC off, low-volume talk radio, and pure let's see how far this goes faith? Bottom line, yes, the Mach-E can absolutely handle long hauls across the US, coast to coast if you plan well. But it does require some discipline. Regen sensibly, charge where it counts, and maybe don't go full unbridled mode when you're halfway up the Rockies. So after a test drive that took us from heart to head, from silky smooth to slightly sketchy, the car we've been dissecting today, car name, isn't exactly a scam, but it's also not the deal of the century. It's good looking, but the kind of good looking that makes you jump when you see the headlights in your rear view. It's powerful, but the kind of power that says sorry mid-corner. It's got features, but they feel like luxury you're too afraid to actually use because, well, battery anxiety. And it's safe, yeah, as long as you're not driving like you're in Fast and Furious Suburban Drift. So who's this for? If you need a ride to flex on Instagram, sip overpriced coffee downtown, and turn heads at red lights, perfect fit. If you like a car that turns every ignition into a mini prayer, hey, live your truth. But if you're the type who counts every dollar, wants long-term value, and hates post-purchase regret around mile 20,000, you already know the answer. Let's break it down Carcry style on our legendary No BS Scorecard. Looks, 8 out of 10. Stylish, but lacking a signature punch. Performance, 6.5 out of 10. Not slow, but not exactly memorable. Comfort and tech, 7 out of 10. Gets the job done, just don't expect fireworks. Value, 6 out of 10. Sits awkwardly between worth it and meh. Icon factor, 5 out of 10. As forgettable as the name of a random budget smartphone. Final verdict, looks like love at first sight, feels like an awkward second date. You're watching Carcry, the car review channel that doesn't sugarcoat. If we praise it, it's not sponsored. If this video hit a nerve or cleared your doubts, go ahead, like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts below.